Hare Krishna. So we'll sing this before we start Chaitanya Charitamrita, because today is very auspicious day of Shri Jagannath Rath Yatra. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maya ki. So on this occasion we are reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 13, the ecstatic dancing of the Lord at Rath Yatra. Text 1. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So you can please repeat. Sajiyat Krishna Chaitanya Shri Rathagre Nartana Yaha Yenasi Jagatam Chitram Jagannathopi Vismitaha Sajiyat Krishna Chaitanya Shri Rathagre Nanartayaha Yenasi Jagatam Chitram Jagannathopi Vismitaha Sajiyat Krishna Chaitanya Shri Rathagre Nanartayaha Yenasi Jagatam Chitram Jagannathopi Vismitaha. Sajiyat Krishna Chaitanya Sajiyat Krishna Chaitanya Rathagre Nanartayaha Jagatam Chitra Jagannathopi Vismitaha Sajiyat Krishna Chaitanya Rathagre Nanartayaha Jagatam Chitram Jagannathopi Vismitaha. Matak Krishna Chaitanya Yenasi Jagatam Chitram Jagannathopi Vismitaha Sajiyat Krishna Chaitanya Shri Rathagre Nanartayaha Shri Jagatam Chitram Thopi Vismitaha. Okay. Word to word translation. Saha he Jiyat may live long. Krishna Chaitanya Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Shri Ratha Agre in the front of the car. Nanarta danced. Yaha who. Yena by whom. Asit, there was. Jagatam, of the whole universe. Chitram, wonder. Wonder. Jagannatha, Lord Jagannath. Api, also. Vismitaha, was astonished. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, who danced in front of the car of Sri Jagannath, be all glorified. By seeing his dancing, not only was the whole universe held in wonder, but Lord Jagannath himself became very much astonished. Start with prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shri Mate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Goratushe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, we are very fortunate today that we are celebrating this Jagannath Rath Yatra. And as we have heard many times about the origin of Jagannath Rath Yatra, so we'll speak little bit about the first Rath Yatra. So, of course, we have heard this story of how Jagannath ji appeared in the form which is very peculiar and very sometimes astonishing. Sometimes people don't understand it also. And also we know that because of the love of Krishna himself for his devotees, as he is Bhakta Vatsala always, when he heard about the pastimes of Vrindavan, he became like this. And then Narad Muni wanted this form to be worshipped, and that's how Lord blessed the whole world with this form of Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra along with the Sudarshan. And also we know that how the gopis, they wanted Krishna after so many years, they wanted him back to Vrindavan. And in Kurukshetra, they were doing Manasi Ratha Yatra, that they were pulling Krishna in their own minds. pulling him towards Vrindavan, because they knew that Krishna will be more pleased than in such royal situation. So they were more pleased to see Krishna pleased than their own pleasure. So they were pulling Krishna and then taking him to Vrindavan. But then we see that this Ratha Yatra and Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra did not come so easily in our life. If that was not for Prabhupada, who very mercifully traveled all over the world and established this Ratha Yatra. I still remember when we were in childhood, Ratha Yatra means whole day on DD, Doordarshan, they will show Ratha Yatra. And as kids, we used to feel, Hare, what is this? There is no other programs. And then what is Ratha Yatra? Only crowd, nothing else. And then we used to feel that, what is so... Okay, Ratha Yatra is there, some big function is there somewhere in India. But then, although we are staying in India, although we used to feel it's like big loss, because that day no morning serials, no morning other things, only that we can see that although we are situated in so fortunate place in India, but still even Indians, they have no idea about Jagannath. Till the point we come in touch with devotees of Jagannath. And who can be such a powerful representative of the Lord, who not only just glorified Jagannath in India, but all over the world. He brought this Jagannath culture and then Ratha Yatra. Now this same Ratha Yatra which is held in Puri today is getting enacted practically every large city in the world. So specifically on this day of Ratha Yatra, we should be very grateful to Srila Prabhupada that because of him we are able to understand the meaning of Ratha Yatra. We are able to participate with full heart in Ratha Yatra. Because I still remember first time going for Ratha Yatra in Jagannath Puri, of course with devotees. And then because generally the crowd is too much in the Ratha Yatra, we were staying in one place, and in that Dharmashala also they had put TV, and then they were showing Ratha Yatra and things like that. And one thing, it was so shocking to not seeing Ratha Yatra, but then hearing the commentary of Ratha Yatra. One commentator with great enthusiasm, he was telling that this Ratha Yatra is the sign of great unity of all religions and all sects in this world. This Jagannath, he represents Krishna and all the Vaishnava traditions. This white Balaram, that represents all the Shaivites, all the Shiva worshippers. They also come. You see here, all they have come. And this yellow Subhadra, that represents all the Shaktas, those who worship the... So this is like a very nice combination. It's a national unity, that how all the religions, all the sects, they forget everything because everything is here. And you see here, like that he was describing. So right there you may be, and then you may be thoroughly confused what Ratha Yatra is by hearing such commentaries. That's how it's so important that to hear from authorized devotees what Ratha Yatra is and how it is performed. It is not some concocted way of somehow giving it a touch of whatever way, which is... So, of course, Jagannath ji has united the whole world, because now Jagannath ji is everywhere. Jagannath ji is there in America, Europe, Russia, Asia, Australia, Africa, everywhere. So there is no doubt Jagannath ji has unified the whole world under one umbrella. But then we cannot miss this very important point, that this cannot happen without the mercy of pure devotees like Srila Prabhupada. And we see wherever his pure devotees are there, Lord also appears. This is the spring of 1967, when Prabhupada was there in America. And then he had gone to open the first center in San Francisco. And he had just opened the center, just few months passed. And some devotees were gathering there. Prabhupada was very happy going there. So, there, Her Grace Malti Mataji, she tells this very nice pastime. How Jagannath ji came first time entry in our ISKCON. So she was out for shopping, and then she was going through different shopping places. And then this was a import store. So many imported items. So she was little curious. And of course now she was in touch with Swamiji. So she was very curious to see some Indian imported items. So she went to the Indian section and she was seeing some items. And then she saw this 3 dolls. Black doll, white doll and yellow doll. And she was quite amazed to see. And then that looked something peculiar, flat head, and then half hands only, and then practically just sitting. So she took black one, put it in her bag, came back, and then that time they were having a free entry in Prabhupada's room anytime. Anybody can go. So she went and kept that doll on the Prabhupada's desk. And she was expecting some, because they wanted to do anything and everything which will please Prabhupada. Prabhupada will speak something, and then that was like great pleasure to them. So like that. So she felt that this is from India only, so Prabhupada will be very pleased. She didn't know that Prabhupada will be overjoyed to see that. So when she kept that, Prabhupada folded his both arms, lowered his head, paid obeisances. So that was very unusual, these devotees. And then Prabhupada said, "Where did you get this?" He said, "In the stores." And then they asked, "What is this, Prabhupada?" Prabhupada said, "This is Lord of the universe, Jagannath." So we are very happy that Jagannath ji has appeared today by his sweet will. So Jagannath Swami ki. So that's how the Jagannath appeared. In we can see that it was just Jagannath's wish that he wanted to come and be worshipped. So when Prabhupada was so pleased, he said that, "Were there any other similar?" He says, yeah, it was. So then again she went back, ran. She was so enthusiastic because now Prabhupada was wanting it. So they ran, they picked up all other 2, came back, and then Prabhupada put them on the desk. And then Prabhupada was looking at them so lovingly. And then Prabhupada asked, "Does anybody know carpentry?" And then fortunately, Malti Mataji's husband only, His Grace Shyam Sundar Prabhu, he said that I'm. So then Prabhupada told him that you take these 3 uh, deities and then make bigger size, 3 feet size. And that's how the first deities in ISKCON came into. Then he started carving these deities, and then Jai SriSriRadhaRasbihariTemple ki, Sri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Shri Gaunitai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So, when this 3 big deities were made and they're painted also, and then Prabhupada was so eager. Time to time he used to go in that workshop and see how the situation. And then once I heard this from Shyam Sundar Prabhu, how he tells that whole pastime of how he left his cigarette, because that time they were very new, and then he was, so Prabhupada came to see. That time he was just carving Jagannath deity, and then other logs of woods were kept. When Prabhupada came, he was very happy the way the things was going. But when he was returning back, he found something unusual. He saw one cigarette pack on the wood, which was for Balramji, on the head of that, because in between he used to relax for sometimes doing that. So then Prabhupada was so kind, so accommodative. At the same time, he had that compassion which really touched these great souls in the beginning, that he had already almost like exited, but then he waited there, turned back, and then he looked straight to Shyam Sundar Prabhu. And then Shyam Sundar Prabhu was telling that if he would have told me, he would have kind of angrily told me that, what is this? Do you know the standards and this and that? Would have said that would have not been so impact creating. But then Prabhupada turned around, took his cane and flipped that small cigarette box. It flew and then landed somewhere in the corner. So he was very kind of, that was very big shock for him. And then Prabhupada looked at him and then told, why you want to keep this one small pack between you and Krishna when you are so close to Krishna? So he understood that if I have to achieve Krishna, then this need to be removed, because it is coming in between. And Shyam Sundar Prabhu was telling that was the last day of his smoking. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we see that that was the impact of Prabhupada bringing Krishna and making devotees ready for getting that Krishna in their heart. Not only just making a superficial arrangement of kind of Rath Yatra. So then Prabhupada decided that now Jagannath has come, and then Jagannath is known for his Rath Yatra. So let us have Rath Yatra. Nobody had any idea what Rath Yatra is. And then Prabhupada described them, how it should be done, like that. So on July 9th, 1967, this first Rath Yatra in ISKCON was arranged. So somehow, because Prabhupada's health was not good that time, Prabhupada was not present in the whole Rath Yatra. He was getting recuperated in on the beach only. In one of the home, they had made his arrangement. So, when this whole Rath Yatra was done, they had taken one. Now, how they do this Rath Yatra without the Ratha cart? So, Prabhupada knew the art of using everything in Krishna's service. So, when Prabhupada one day had seen this truck, so Prabhupada was very nicely observing this Rath, this truck going. So, devotees asked, so Prabhupada said, this truck can be used as a Rath. You remove the top portion, have a flat bed, and then, so they got very kind of a old truck, because new truck, they can't do all this repairing and things like that. So it was like very used, torn truck. They made it a flat, and all three deities were put there. Sham Sundar Prabhu and Jayanand Prabhu was there. They created they put 5 big pillars on that flat bed of the truck, and then they put some canopy of the cloth only, and they decorated it as nicely as possible. And all these three deities were kept, and there are some photos of that first Rath Yatra. Because that Rath was very small, they had to put they are not in one line. They are like, in circle, they had to keep it. So, and then that Rath Yatra started, because that the whole crowd that time was the hippies crowd, and this was also Haight Ashbury neighborhood, which they started. So they wanted to take this Rath cart from Golden Gate Park through the beach, like that. So then many young people, they were attracted when they saw that some procession is going on, some Eastern religious procession. So many musicians, many kind of young people, they came, thousands, and it was a great success. But then we see that Jagannath ji has his own way. We see that it was the first Rath Yatra. Everybody was so enthusiastic. Everybody was so kind of memorable. And Jagannath ji wanted to make it more memorable. So what happened is, at one point of time, there was little kind of a steep road was there. So Sham Sundar Prabhu was driving this flatbedded truck. So then he was expert driver. He started going up, and then suddenly engine stopped. So that was a big shock. Second shock was brakes also failed. So now you can imagine, deities are there in the truck, and it is like this. So truck started slipping off, and then devotees were catching the truck, catching the deities, and then other people, they were new, they had no idea what is going on. They must be thinking it's a ritual only, catching the deities. Like, you should do it. But all these devotees, they were in really panic. They were not knowing what to do. So they were really calling out Jagannath's mercy. And then somehow, Sham Sundar Prabhu tells that it was a great miracle that somehow engine started. And then otherwise it would have been a great disaster in the first Rath Yatra only. So then afterwards, they carried that Rath Yatra properly. So we see that nothing happens like a cakewalk. Nothing happens like a smooth. So Jagannath ji makes sure that we are kept on toes. So Jagannath ji wanted to give that feeling that we are not the doers. Whatever we do, everything can scramble within few moments, like that. So that day they had a nice Rath Yatra procession. They distributed prasad, and everybody was very happy. And then next day they came, the whole Rath, they brought it to Prabhupada's place so that he can take darshan and like that. And then Shyam Sundar Prabhu said that we were very sorry this tragedy happened, but nothing. So Prabhupada said, he said, this is Jagannath's Leela. He said in Jagannath Puri also it happens. He says that Jagannath Rath sometimes stops, and even if you put elephants and very strong people, the Rath doesn't move. It just stops. And then suddenly it starts moving. So he said that is Jagannath's very special pastime. So he said that Jagannath has come, he has brought Rath Yatra also, and now he has got his own pastimes also. So we see that in the Western world, this was the first Rath Yatra. So that's how this July 9th, 1967 becomes a historical moment. Not only for ISKCON, but for the whole world, that Jagannath ji went outside of India and made the first Rath Yatra. So that's how Prabhupada always used to call. He is Jagannath. He is not Udiyanath. He is not Bharatnath. He is Jagannath. So he Jagannath means he is really Nath of Jagannath, Jagat. That he is the proprietor of the whole world, not just small tract of land on this earth. Yeah. So we are also getting a chance to perform some service and participate in this Rath Yatra. So we are very fortunate that we get the mercy of Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, Sudarshan, and that is coming through very wonderful channel of Srila Prabhupada's mercy in Parampara. So we are very grateful to Srila Prabhupada for what he has offered us. Direct entry in the Lord's pastimes, which are very intimate. And today also we are celebrating two great personalities' disappearance day. So we'll just speak about that a bit. So the first one is Swarup Damodar Goswami, who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's personal secretary. Somebody wants to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, somebody wants to do anything, you cannot do it without going first through Swarup Damodar Goswami. He used to make everything for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami writes this. This is Antya-lila, 2nd chapter, 107. Swarupa Gosai Raya Ramananda Shikhi Mahiti Tina Tar Bhagini Ardhajana. So he talks about the 3.5 associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who are very dear to him. He says Swarupa Gosai, Swarup Damodar Goswami, Rai Ramananda Rai, and Shikhi Mahiti. So these three personalities, they were very close to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then he says half, that is Shikhi Mahiti's sister. So these 3.5 people are considered very close to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then other place also, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that these two personalities, they knew the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very well. One is Paramananda Puri, who was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's spiritual master's god brother, and Swarup Damodar Goswami, who was constant companion of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes to Jagannath Puri, he stayed there 18 years. And then his one of the main goal of going to Puri was to experience this transcendental loving separation, which he has taken incarnation for. So when this Madhya Lila, this very nice payar comes, Purira Vatsalya Mukha Ramanandera Shuddha Sakhya Govindadera Shuddha Dasya Rasa Gadadhara Jagadananda Swarupera Mukhya Rasananda Eichari Bhave Prabhuvasha. So he says that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appreciated and overjoyed to have these dealings with different devotees. He says, Purira Vatsalya Mukhya. Here Paramananda Puri, who was senior in this sense, that he was the god brother of Ishwara Puri. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always respected him, and this Paramananda Puri, being the incarnation of Uddhava, had a very paternal relationship with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ramanandera Shuddha Sakhya. Ramananda, Rai Ramananda, because he is Lalita Sakhi, he had a very close, friendly relationship with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Govindadera Shuddha Dasyaras. And other devotees like Govinda and many others who used to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as menial humble servant. Gadadhara Jagadananda Swarupera Mukhya Rasananda. So Gadadhar Pandit, Jagadanand Pandit and Swarup Damodar Goswami, they were always there to share this very close, loving rasa with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and assist Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to experience the special Madhurya Ras in separation from Radha and Krishna. So that was also done in the association of these three devotees. So Eichari Bhave Prabhu Vasha. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was purchased, he was conquered by these devotees. And we see that all this Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mangal, Chaitanya Bhagavat, and many other Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes have come in this world through the great work and contribution by Murari Gupta and Swarup Damodar, because they had written the notes while Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was performing pastimes. If that was not Murari Gupta and Swarup Damodar, we would not be having this treasure of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. So these pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are made available to us through these great personalities. So this, he says, Kaviraj Goswami says, Chaitanya Lila Ratnasar Swarupera Bhandar Teho Thuila Raghunather Kanthe Taha Kichu Yeshu Nilun Taha Iha Vistarilun Bhakta Gana Dilu Ei Bhete. So he says Chaitanya Lila Ratnasar, the most valuable gems are this Chaitanya Lila. And Swarupera Bhandar, it is in the custody of Swarup Damodar Goswami. Teho Thuila Raghunather Kanthe. Because Swarup Damodar Goswami trained and imparted these notes and the pastimes to Raghunath Das Goswami. And then Raghunath Das Goswami in Vrindavan at the bank of Radha Kund spoke these pastimes for the benefit of all the devotees. Taha kichu e shunilun, taha iha vistarilun. So he says that whatever I have heard from Raghunath Das Goswami, I have elaborated and I have given this Bhaktagana Dilu ei bhete, that this is the great gift which I am able to offer to the devotee community. And then we see the Sarup Damodar Goswami was constant companion with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because it was very difficult for any common person to understand Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's special bhava, or the love which he was experiencing in his heart. Sometimes it was very difficult for a common man to understand. So these two devotees were always there to see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is taken care, and then he is assisted in that manner. So Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Eyi mata Mahaprabhu vaise nilachale rajani divase Krishna viraha vifvale. He was day and night in the great separation from Radha and Krishna, and that's how he was staying in Nilachal. Swarupa Ramanandayai dui janasyane ratri dine rasagita shloka aswadane. So whole day and night this whole pastime was there, day and night, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to feel great separation in different emotions. And these two devotees, Swarup and Ramananda. Swarup Damodar was a great musician. He used to sing this shlokas from Bhagavatam and many other places, just to suit the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and to give him some solace. And Ramananda Rai, being a great scholar, he used to recite many Bhagavatam shlokas. So both of them, singing from Kalidas and from many other Vaishnava poets, they used to pacify and support Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's very special emotions. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita only, this Kaviraj Goswami talks about the previous life before Swarup Damodar Goswami came to Nilachal. So this is Madhya Leela, 10th chapter, 102 shloka. Aradine Aila Swarupa Damodara Prabhura Atyantamarmi Rasera Sagara. Swarup Damodar also arrived the next day. He was very intimate friend of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he was an ocean of transcendental mellows. Purushottama Acharya Tara Nama Purvashrame Navadvipe Chela Teha Prabhura Charane. When Swarup Damodar was residing at Navadvip under the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his name was Purushottama Acharya. Prabhura Sannyasa Dekhi Unmatta Hayya Sannyasa Grahana Kaila Varanasi Giya. So after seeing that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the denounced order, Purushottama Acharya became like a madman and immediately went to Varanasi to take sannyas. So because he was so intimate with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he couldn't take it that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taken sannyas and then he has left. So he also in great madness took sannyas. Chaitanyananda Guru Taha Ajna Dila Tare Vedanta Padiya Pado Samasta Lokere. At the conclusion of his sannyas, his spiritual master Chaitanyananda Bharati ordered him, read the Vedanta Sutra and teach it to all others. Parama viraktate hai Parama Pandita Kaya Mane Ashriya Che Shri Krishna Charita. Swarup Damodar was a great renunciate as well as a great learned scholar. With heart and soul, he took shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Nischinte Krishna bhajiba eita karane unmade karilate hai sannyasa grahane. He was very enthusiastic to worship Sri Krishna without disturbance, and therefore almost in madness he accepted the sannyas order. Sannyasa karila shikha sutra tyaga rupa yoga pattana nila nama haila swarupa. Upon accepting sannyas, Purushottam Acharya followed the regulative principles by giving up his stuff of hair and sacred thread, but he did not accept the saffron colored dress. Also, he did not accept a sannyasi title, but remained as a Naishtika brahmachari. So he was so concentrated in not doing anything else than serving Krishna, and specifically Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that he did not want to take any upadhi, any even external dress of a sannyasi. He felt that why to unnecessarily get distracted. So he remained in white, although he had taken sannyas, and he always remained humble like a brahmachari. He didn't even accept the sannyas name also. गुरु थाई आज्ञा मागी आइल नीला चले रात्रि दिने कृष्ण प्रेम आनंदे विभले. After taking permission from his sannyas guru, Swarup Damodar went to Nilachal and accepted the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then all the day and night, in ecstatic love of Krishna, he enjoyed transcendental mellows in the loving service of the Lord. Pandityera avadhi vyakhya nahi karo sane nirjane rahaye loka sabanahi jane. Swarup Damodar was the limit of all learned scholarship. But he did not exchange words with anyone. He simply remained in the solitary place and no one could understand where he was. Krishna rasa tattvavetta deha prema rupa sakshad mahaprabhu dvitiya swarupa. Sri Swarup Damodar was the personification of ecstatic love, fully cognizant of the transcendental mellows in relationship with Krishna. He directly represented Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as his second expansion. So we see that he was almost like a second Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that's how he had a great frequency with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted, what was his mood, why he appeared. So everything was very clear to Swarup Damodar Goswami. And there are many pastimes of Swarup Damodar Goswami which are very wonderful. Like, because today Ratha Yatra is there. So one very nice pastime happened with his one very intimate friend, that is Pundarik Vidyanidhi. So this was Odan Shashti, where Jagannath ji is given fresh new clothes in Jagannath Puri. And the whole festival was going on. All the devotees were assembled. They were chanting, dancing, and taking part in the festival. But then Pundarik Vidyanidhi was little not happy with the procedure going on, the way the Pandas were worshipping Jagannath. So he saw that very fresh clothes without being washed. Generally we have that starch. It's very kadak. So as it is, they were offering it to Lord Jagannath. So he felt that's not a good cleanliness standard. So when he was feeling like that, he came to his good friend, who? Swarup Damodar Goswami. He said, this is not proper. How can they offer? It's not pure, because still starch is there. They should wash it and then they should offer it to Jagannath. So Swarup Damodar Goswami smiled. He said, see, Jagannath ji is fully independent. Pundarik Vidyanidhi said that I understand. Jagannath ji is fully independent. He can do anything, he can accept anything, but then pujaris are not fully independent. They are supposed to follow the rules and regulations. So how they can offer it like that? So like that they had some discussion. And then with that discussion they went. Night time, Krishna and Balaram, Jagannath and Baladev, they came in the dream of Pundarik Vidyanidhi and started beating him left and right. They were smashing on his cheeks, telling that who told you to do all these things. And then next day when he got up, his both cheeks were swollen, red. So he was feeling very guilty, at the same time ecstasy of being touched by the Lord. And then he went back to his friend and told this has happened. So Swarup Damodar Goswami and both Pundarik Vidyanidhi, they were in great ecstasy discussing. And whole day they were discussing about Krishna Katha. So we see that Jagannath is transcendently independent Lord. Where he wants to go, he decides. How he wants to go, he decides. Where he wants to stop, he decides. What he wants to eat, he decides. What he wants to accept, he decides. So that's how the whole Nilachal is transcendental in that way. And today also we are celebrating the that is Shivanand Sen disappearance. So the Shivanand Sen, who was also from the Kumar hut in Bangladesh, but then they used to come every Ratha Yatra, and then they used to have a Yatra, their yearly Yatra. And generally devotees go for Yatra for 4 days, 1 week, maximum 10 days. But all these devotees from Navadvip, Bangladesh, they used to come to Jagannath Puri for 4 months. They used to stay with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, take prasad. Nobody wanted to go back, but then somehow they have to go. So that's how they used to, with great hesitation, they used to come back, so that they can come back again for next Rath Yatra period. So one of the special service of bringing all these devotees, Yatra manager, that seva was done by Shivananda Sen. So this is Madhya Leela 15th chapter. So he used to bring devotees for Yatra, and then specifically he used to take care of their accommodation, prasadam, and while transport many tolls has to be given, things like that. Very tedious, responsible service. And those who are managing yatras, they can understand. And so much so that once, because the toll was getting delayed, and then he told all the devotees that you go ahead, I'll take care of this toll collector, you go ahead. So then he was dealing with the toll collector, how much to give, what that. Devotees went ahead, and Nityanand Prabhu was there, and many other great devotees were there. So they were waiting for him to come, because things were unclear, where to stay, where is prasad. So they were getting little upset that why he is not coming, and we are hungry, there is no proper place. So when he came back after a long time, after settling the whole thing, Nityanand Prabhu was very upset. So upset that he kicked on his chest. And then he cursed. He says that, no, you don't know how to serve. You are keeping us here. We are hungry and we don't know what to do. And then he cursed that all your sons will die. So now if somebody else says like that, we don't take it so seriously. But then Supreme Lord only is cursing. So the wife of Shivanand says started crying that, so sometimes this happens. Whenever we are serving devotees, Krishna makes it interesting. It's like that. So, but then we can see the heart of Shivanand Sen. When that happened, rather than kind of negatively thinking about this, he started jumping in ecstasy, telling that today I got the dust of Nityanand Prabhu. I'm so fortunate. This dust is aspired by Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. Today I got that dust. Willingly he gave me. Like that was his mood. And he started dancing. So Nityanand Prabhu became very pleased. And then he took off that curse back. And then again they joined in taking prasad and other. So that's how the situation. And then another thing with, because he was a very nice manager, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used him nicely. So this is Madhya Leela, 15th chapter, 93rd shloka. शिवानंद सने कहे करिया सम्मान वासुदेव दत्तेर तुम्ही करिह समाधान. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very concerned about Vasudev Datta. So this Vasudev Datta, who was very liberal, and he is known for kind of his compassion, like that. But then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was concerned because he's a grahastha, and then if he is so transcendental, then how he will take care of. So with that concern, he was telling this to Shivananda Sen. The Lord also respectfully told Shivananda Sen, take care of Vasudev Datta very nicely. Parama udara iho ye dina ye as aise sei dine vyaya kare nahi rakhe sheshe. Vasudev Datta is very liberal. Every day, whatever income he receives, he spends. He does not keep any balance. Grahastha haye nahi ho chahiye sanchaya na kaile kutumba bharana nahi haya. Being a householder, Vasudev Datta needs to save some money. Because he is not doing so, it is very difficult for him to maintain his family. Ihara घरेर आय व्यय सब तोमार स्थाने सरखेला हैया तुमी करिह समाधाने. Please take care of Vasudev Datta's family affairs. Become his manager and make the proper adjustment. So in the purport, Prabhupada writes that Vasudev Datta and Shivanand Sen were living in the same neighborhood, which is presently called Kumar Hatta or Hali Sahar. प्रतिवर्षे आमार सब भक्तगण लैया गुंडीचाय आसिबे सबाय पालन करिया. Come every year and bring all my devotees with you to Gundija festival. I also request you to maintain all of them. So that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's special service given to him. So we see that all these devotees were performing varieties of pastimes with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to give him great ecstasy of love in separation. So today is the day when this very special pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who enacted when he was there in this earth, carrying the Rath cart, and even one of our great legendary Acharya, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, says that this Rath Yatra is very crucial because Srimati Radharani is pulling Krishna, and then they are in great emergency because Krishna is away, and then they want him back to Vrindavan. So he says that if we are participating in this, that we are assisting our previous acharyas, the line of coming down from Krishna and Srimati Radharani, we are actually assisting them to bring Krishna back. So our heart also has, from millions and millions of years now, Krishna is out, and it has become more than what we can go through in this material world. So by mercy of Prabhupada, we are assisting them in that very high elevated rasa of pulling Krishna. But then we can understand that today we are bringing back Krishna in our heart, which we have lost his association for many, many births. So by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy and Srila Prabhupada's mercy, we are getting that chance to pull Krishna back in our heart by loudly chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Jagannath Ratha Yatra ki. Okay. Any comments? Okay. So we'll end here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maya ki.